Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, aka GCurse here. I hope you are all having a great Sunday. It is currently 9:13 a.m. on the 14th of September 2025. It's Sunday. It's actually a wet Sunday. We started getting rain this morning. And you know what? Let's do a react video. This is part of a series that I've recently started, with the first installment being last week. I present to you entries 19 to 11 of the top 30 Unsolved Mysteries episodes that will keep you up at night. This is from WatchMojo. I cannot wait to see what there is in this set of entries. I watched this video already, but I cannot remember what there is. Just to remind everybody, this overall video that I've been reacting to covers everything from the Robert Stack era of Unsolved Mysteries, the Dennis Farina era when they relaunched Unsolved Mysteries, and then the Netflix entries, or Netflix relaunch, I guess you could say, of Unsolved Mysteries. I have very limited knowledge regarding the Netflix series, so when they show any Netflix related content, I may not know that much, so I may be a little bit more quiet. But I am very excited to continue this series. So this will cover entries 19 to 11, and then next week we will end it with entries 10 to 1. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so let's get this on, shall we? 3, 2, 1.
Number 19, Stockton Arsonist. There's just something creepy about finding some lost, obscure footage on an old VHS tape. This is made.
Okay, I'm gonna go hard in right now with this entry. This case does not deserve to be even on this list. Basically, what you have is two teenagers that are just overall horrible people. They were trying to try to claim that these teenagers had some sort of psychological problems. No, they're just shitty people. This is something I like to say when it comes to people who will instantly claim like racism in some of these Unsolved Mysteries cases, or mental illnesses like with this case. No, sometimes it's not psychological issues, it's not racism. Sometimes shitty people are just shitty people. That's all there is to it. There's been shitty people throughout the entire history of humanity. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It was just two shitty teenagers who thought they could get away with something. And sadly, the way society is like, oh, we got to try to understand them. And we got to try to, we got to try to label everything. No, sometimes it's just shitty people.
Doubly disturbing when it's also an actual unsolved mystery. The Stockton Arsonist episode of the series followed a family whose car broke down on the side of the road, during which time the young son found an abandoned jacket with a tape inside the pocket.
Wrapped in the jacket were a videotape with no label and several audio cassettes of heavy metal music.
Oh no! Heavy metal music! Watch out, everybody! Satanic panic!
On the tape is what appears to be an intentionally set home arson, which is bad enough, but the voice speaking on the tape makes mention of Satanism, while a search of the site later by police turned up ritualistic paraphernalia.
Beautiful. Look at it. Do you see what I could do, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see what I can do?
Updates and
people are trying to act like the way that he was talking. Oh no, he has problems. No, he was disguising his voice because he probably had a voice that a lot of people recognize. So he tried to disguise his voice because he knew what he did was wrong. It isn't fucking psychological. Not everything is mental or racial or whatever. It's just sometimes people are shitty people.
later episodes revealed that 2 underage suspects were ultimately tried, but it's the satanic implications, including the discovery of a ceramic skull, that are hard to forget.
I've never run across...
Oh no, a ceramic skull. Oh god, it definitely has to be satanic panic.
anything as eerie as this tape. It frightened me. As a matter of fact, I thought about it that night when I went to bed.
Well, I would hope that you would think about it when you go home, because that's what a lot of people do when they go home. It isn't like that you work a long 8 plus hour job or whatever. You go home and all of a sudden it's just all gone. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. It doesn't work like that. You go home and the shit that you did that day is still in your head. It's like that for everybody. Don't act like you're fucking somebody special because, oh, I went home and I was thinking about it. No shit. You got home, you just got done working. It isn't like it's going to be it isn't like something that happened to you like 45,000 years ago and all of a sudden it hits you like a fucking bolt of lightning. No, it just literally happened that day. Don't fucking act like you're somebody special when everybody has this shit happen to them. Okay, up next we have a case that is one of my most favorite cases. I was about to say famous cases, but I'm not in it. It's one of my favorite cases. I present to you the case of the Tallman house. I will actually be giving a full commentary video of the Tallman house this coming Halloween. That's right. This coming Halloween, I'm going to be releasing 2 Unsolved Mystery commentary videos. The first one is going to be the Tallman house, and the second is the St. James Hotel. I cannot wait for Halloween. It's going to be fucking awesome.
For 18, the Tallman house. Ghost stories and creepy reenactments are absolutely essential aspects of a classic Unsolved Mysteries episode.
I can never understand why the fuck it is that this family initially assembled the bunk bed in the basement. This is something that's always bothered me. Why assemble it in the basement? Because the fact is that they were going to have to then take it upstairs and put it in one of the bedrooms for the kids to sleep on. I can never understand that. It's like, okay, we're going to assemble it down here. Okay, we got to already assemble everything. Okay, it looks good. Okay, now let's take it all apart and take it upstairs. It's like, what the fuck?
And this one certainly delivers the goods. It all started with a secondhand bunk bed for the Tallman family, a seemingly innocuous purchase that would turn their lives upside down. For it was soon after bringing the bed into their home that the Tallmans experienced all sorts of unexplained paranormal phenomena, from disembodied voices calling out in the home to household items operating.
Oh god, I'm getting the cold shivers running down my back right now when I see that fucking I was about to say stereo. That radio constantly scanning the various stations on the radio. Oh god, I'm freaking out. I'm fucking freaking out. I'm freaking out.
Strangely and dangerously, as well as unexplained.
This scene right here is what scared a lot of people when we were younger. This was that real early, I'm guessing you could call it CGI. I'm not sure if it was CGI, but it was like real early graphics where you would have like something in the background and they overlaid like fire on it, They didn't actually burn. They didn't actually burn the garage. It wasn't one of those things. It was actually where they just overlaid fire. And because of the limitations technologically we had back in the 80s, this scared the shit out of a lot of people.
Fires in the garage. The reenactment clicks all the boxes for a classic Unsolved Mysteries fan, guaranteeing unsettled dreams and a questioning over what might lie beyond.
I started to see this fog starting to appear on the floor, and a voice came out of it, and it says, You're dead.
Number 17.
Okay, so yeah, that was the Tallman house, one of the best cases ever on Unsolved Mysteries. Okay, up next we have entry number 17. As you can see here, it is Lizzie Borden house. I originally, earlier in this video, I talked about how people are just shitty people. We go from shitty people to weird motherfuckers. I'm not talking about weird motherfuckers that like believe in ghosts or whatnot. I'm talking about weird motherfuckers that feel it's cool to live in a house or sleep in a house where a brutal double murder happened. Oh, honey, We're going to go to that bed and breakfast where the woman killed her father and stepmother, 100 plus years. Yeah, we're going to go sleep there. We're going to eat there. What kind of weird motherfuckers does that?
The Lizzie Borden house. The tried and true murder mystery always makes for creepy night.
It's not a murder mystery. Lizzie Borden did it. If you think she didn't, then you're wrong. She did it. This you could place Lizzie Borden in the file cabinet under daddy issues. That's right. I feel that Lizzie Borden had a thing for her daddy, and when daddy brought home a new woman, Lizzie Borden couldn't have that, and the bitch went nuts.
Time viewing when it comes to diehard fans of unsolved mysteries. And what better true crime tale than the infamous case of Lizzie Borden?
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. So what she had done, she gave her mother 41.
This episode not only detailed facts about the horrible double murder from New England, but also goes into the present-day history of the Fall River home that Lizzie shared alongside her father, stepmother, and live-in maid.
They claim that Lizzie, Abby, and Andrew still walk these halls and haunt these rooms.
Oh yeah, who doesn't want to live in a house where a brutal double murder happened? Who doesn't want to sleep? Like, get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here.
Chained forever to this place by the horrific events of over a century ago.
The house may be a popular bed and breakfast for the brave and the bold.
Or the stupid, as I like to call them.
But there are also plenty of late-night ghost stories that keep us awake, wondering whether or not Lizzie still prowls the hallways, axe steadily in hand.
And after a long day of sightseeing, you can drift off to sleep in the same bedroom where Abby Borden's pummeled body was discovered lifeless on the floor.
Oh, God. Oh, we are fucked up as a society, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm going to go take a nap. On the floor right here, a woman was brutally killed. But I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep. What the fuck is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with people? Vampires. The humanoid ticks of the animal kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to really say. They're like ticks. They're like ticks. Let's get on with this one.
Number 16, the vampire cult murders. While we admit there's something comfortingly nostalgic about the early internet footage present within this episode of Unsolved Mysteries, there's nothing remotely funny about the actual case.
Generally speaking, we're looking at kids who are usually intelligent children.
Apparently, they're not that intelligent if they're killing people. You're not that intelligent if you know that the law forbids murder and you decide, hey, let's go murder people. You're not that fucking intelligent.
And want to belong, want to be a part of something, want to participate. And so this comes along and reaches out to them and says, there are no rules.
Richard and Naoma Wendorf were the victims of a local gang who were obsessed with vampirism, to the point where one of the men arrested for the murders was actually convinced he was immortal.
Put him in an electric chair. We'll see how immortal he is.
Wendorf's daughter Heather was supposedly involved with the group, but any charges against her were eventually dropped.
Of course. If I had my way, if you could be linked to that crime, then you should be punished. If she was linked to that crime, she needs to be punished.
The episode itself points out the vampire's cultural significance over the years as a media symbol, while also doing a good job of presenting the real-life creepiness of those real-life fans who take their obsession too far.
Nerds! And that's coming from a nerd, so yeah.
Is vampire make-believe inherently evil and dangerous? Probably not. Does it create an atmosphere where aberrant behavior is promoted? There's no way to know.
Oh, God. I don't mind if you roleplay as a vampire, but when you start fucking killing people and you start thinking, oh, I'm a Lord of Darkness. No, you're a fucktard and you need to be punished. Okay, up next we have a case that, my thoughts may upset a lot of people. And if that's the case, so be it. I'm going to go on record and say I don't think this was a legitimate haunting. I don't think this was poltergeist activity like what they originally claimed. What I think it was I think that the Tatums, they basically what it was you have an elderly couple that retired. I think they got in too far over their head. They were not living within their means. They could not afford everything they had. Therefore, they need to get rid of everything. Therefore, let's claim the house is haunted. I don't think this was a legitimate haunting. I think that this was just, like I said, a couple elderly people that thought that retirement was going to bring, fortune and fame, and they realized that they were going to have to live on a budget of pork and beans, basically.
15. The Tatum House. Okay, so it isn't as if Unsolved Mysteries needed an excuse to be creepy, but this Halloween episode delivered the supernatural goods with a host of frightening tales.
At first, I thought it was my husband. And I went into the bedroom, and there my husband was in the bed.
The Tatum House segment dealt with poltergeist activity in a home owned by a retired married couple.
I don't think that they mention it here, but what they failed to mention is that this house was like newly built. It was newly built. And like I said, this kind of goes with what I was saying originally. I think that they spent hundreds and thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, to build this house. They own the property that the house sat on. They probably realized, oh shit, we don't have enough for the yearly, taxes, upkeep, and all that shit. We gotta get rid of all this shit. And the thing is, society is filled with a bunch of gullible motherfuckers. They are. It is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's one thing I'm always with you guys. I'm always fucking honest. They decided, there are a bunch of people that are gullible that will believe whatever they're told. We'll tell them we have a haunted bell. Oh, you have a haunted bell. And people are going to believe it. It made its way to the producers of Unsolved Mysteries, and they're like, you know what? We'll give them a couple $1,000. We'll air this case, and we'll make a few $100,000. Yeah. I just don't think that this is a legitimate hauntings case. I don't even think it's fucking paranormal at all.
Who reported continued unexplained noises in the house. The reenactments forego cheesy theatrics and overacting, and instead describe the Tatum's experiences with a basic, matter-of-fact delivery that makes it all the more real.
I knew.
I like that they claimed that it wasn't that there was no over-the-top acting, when in fact in this scene right here you have the guy breaking down and needing to be held by his wife. Oh yeah, not over the top at all, ladies and gentlemen. Not over the top at all. It's done. It's hysterics, ladies and gentlemen. It's dramatics. That's all it is.
Very well that something was happening because Kay is very level-headed, and she was truly frightened.
As a result, we can identify much more with how the couple must have felt.
Actually, no, because I see through this sham. I don't feel anything for them because I know it's a sham.
Particularly Jim Tatum, who becomes increasingly upset as he described what happened to the camera.
I told Kay then, I says, no more bell. I'm not going to answer that bell anymore. And that bell has not rung since.
Okay, bring on the water. Here it comes. Not over the top at all, ladies and gentlemen. Not over the top at all. If a ringing bell and a shadow of a guy walking across the room petrified these two elderly people to the point that they had to sell their house and get the fuck out of town, they would pass out at the thought of the Tallman house or the St. James Hotel or the Black Hope Curse. These people would not be able to handle it. They would literally die of a heart attack.
I've never seen him like that before.
Number 14.
Oh God, this case. God. Okay, seriously, why the fuck is this case even on this list? The reason I used to believe that this case was legitimate. I would go, whenever me and my friends in school talked about the Allagash abductions, I was a staunch supporter of these people. I'm like, yeah, these people were definitely abducted. And then in 2016, I think it was, here, let's take a quick look. I think it was 2016. See here, Allagash Abductions, Unsolved. It's 2016, I think it was. One of the people that were abducted came out and literally claimed, "Oh no, we made it all up. We made it all up." And because of that, it really caused. God damn it! It really caused me to question everything that is now said regarding Unsolved Mysteries. Let's see here. Results. Unresolved. In a 2016 interview, Chuck Rack admitted that the abduction part of the story was made up, and he went along with the narrative for financial gain. However, he does admit to seeing a series of strange lights over a period of a couple days during the camping trip. No, I don't believe that. If he actually came out and said, "Well, the abduction wasn't fake, what was fake, we made it up for financial gain," why the fuck should I then believe him when he goes, "Oh, there was lights, but there's no." I don't believe anything they fucking say now. And because of that, whenever I see the Allagash abduction, either in like a WatchMojo video or people who talk about it, I'm like, dude, it's not fucking real. Why are you even giving these fakes, these charlatans, any sort of fucking recognition? They're fucking liars.
The Allagash abductions.
And I remember thinking that we're not going to outrun this thing. There's just no way. It was coming too quickly.
Okay, we admit it. Sometimes the recreations on Unsolved Mysteries and other similar shows are more, well, humorous than frightening. Thankfully, this is not the case with our next entry,
And the issue is that I have, like I said, the fact that I was lied to, that's what really pissed me off. But the fact is that the producers of Unsolved Mysteries, they always put a warning on saying that these cases are legitimate. So when something like this happens, it causes me to really become skeptical of everything I see on Unsolved Mysteries.
Harrowing tale of an alleged contact with the extraterrestrial. The Allagash abductions doesn't play it light or for laughs, but instead presents the four subjects as men who definitely seem to be shaken by a collective experience.
Money! We need money!
All four said they were taken aboard the craft.
As a result, we can put ourselves in their shoes and imagine how we might feel if we felt we were abducted by visitors from outer space. It's here that Unsolved Mysteries has always shined, and an example of why this episode continues to give us the creeps.
They're right there.
What pisses me off is that if you watch the entire case, towards the end of the case, one of the people goes, "Well, it happened and I believe it, and if you don't believe it, then too fucking bad." He didn't say exactly like that, but too bad because it happened and I know it happened. No, you're a fucking liar. You're a goddamn liar. And the only reason that the truth is now coming out is because your friend must have had an attack of conscience or whatever, but he came out and exposed it for being a lie.
Their face is right in my face. I don't know why.
But yeah, so I'm just not a fan of the Allagash abductions anymore. Yeah, I feel that what they did harmed legitimate abductees, people who were legitimately abducted and terrorized by aliens. Their experiences are now scrutinized even more because you had pieces of shit like these four people that went out there and basically told a fucking grandiose lie to get money out of it. Up next, we have a case that is really tragic because this basically exemplifies what I was saying about how just there are shitty human beings out there. This is one of those prime examples.
13. The Blind River Killer. We sometimes take solace in the fact that many notorious killers have been caught by police and brought to justice. But what about the ones who get away? Sadly, there was no justice during the lifetime of Gordon McAllister, who passed away in 2012 without discovering the identity of the Blind River Killer.
To me, that is like the biggest injustice of all. This guy watched his wife get killed. He then watched a stranger get killed. And the person who did these killings was never brought to justice. He had to spend the last, his dying, his dying years. Is that the right way to say it? Dying years, his last years, whatever you want to call it. He spent the remainder of his life, basically, having to remember how his wife was brutally murdered. And the person was never brought to justice. To me, that screams injustice.
This unidentified man accosted and robbed McAllister and his wife Jackie while they were parked for the night in their RV at a rest stop. The reenactment in this episode really drove home the tragedy of when McAllister's wife, as well as a good Samaritan at the rest stop, were shot and killed by the gunman. And we can't help but wish things could have turned out differently.
And I was laying there just praying. I was just praying to God that he'd keep on running. And he did.
Number 12.
Oh, God. That's not much more I can really say because of the fact that the guy was never killed. And until, when it comes to every case on Unsolved Mysteries, I am not the type of person that instantly will follow whatever the bandwagon says. Oh, a group of people were run off the road and those people were black, therefore it has to be a racism attack. No. I don't believe that until I actually hear what the police have to say, what the results are and everything. We don't know why this guy killed those two innocent people. And therefore, because like I said, there are just shitty people. Up next, we have a good example of how trying to do the right thing can often have real bad effect, or real bad consequences, I guess you could say. I can't recall the person's name, but basically what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a guy who is trying to help reform, the prisons, make them better, and he ended up getting killed for it.
Prison Mystery. Speaking of reenactments, the updated version of Unsolved Mysteries, hosted by Dennis Farina, featured increased production values when it came to staging these sequences.
I never had an issue with Dennis Farina as a host. I think he was actually a great host. My issue was more along the lines of some of the special effects or audio effects, I guess you could really say, that they used for this incarnation of Unsolved Mysteries. Instead of just copy and pasting what worked with the Robert Stack era and just carry over, oh God, I can't recall the guy's name now. I just literally said it. Instead of having the new host and just carry over what worked, they decided to have the new host and literally just go bombastic with scene transitions, with audio, sometimes less is more. Less is more. I will be honest, I think that a lot of people will be honest and say that they don't mind the host of the series. God, I can't recall his name. I just literally fucking said it. Oh God, let me pull up. I just literally said it. I posted Unsolved Mysteries. Dennis Farina. Jesus, why could I not remember that? It was Dennis Farina. I will be honest, I don't think a lot of people had issue with Dennis Farina himself as the host of the show. I think a lot of people's displeasure with this era of Unsolved Mysteries was more along the lines of the just overabundance of special effects. Okay,
As a result, this episode from the iteration's second season has aged pretty well, all things considered. The murder mystery, which serves as the centerpiece to this episode, deals with Judge James Michael Frankie, who was hired by the Oregon State prison system to try and increase inmate capacity.
Oh, I thought he was doing like a reform or something. I thought he was trying to figure out like what was causing like corruption or something, because I swore that they mentioned corruption. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I apologize, guys.
Michael knew he was juggling political dynamite and that it could blow up in his face at any moment.
The reenactments do a great job of stressing how Frankie was murdered outside of his office in an apparent robbery gone wrong, while also lending credence to the theories that he might have been the victim of an inside hit by corrupt government officials. Either way, it's true.
I think that this could have been an instance of, once again, a person on the verge of becoming a whistleblower. I think that's what this could have been, that he was going to become a whistleblower and he was going to implicate several high-ranking people, and they just did not want that.
Really chilling stuff.
Some believe that Michael was the victim of a premeditated murder and that it was carried out by several men and possibly instigated by high-ranking officials who were afraid that they would be named in his investigation.
Number 11.
Okay, so that was the case of the prison murder mystery, or whatever they called it. Up next is next case pissed me the fuck off because of a huge justice failure, and I'll talk about that in this upcoming entry. Okay, up next we have a case that pissed me off because of not only it was a brutal murder. It was a brutal murder. However, the person who committed this murder actually got bail. In my opinion, if you kill somebody, you shouldn't have the chance for bail. Because of the fact, if you're willing to kill somebody, then there's a chance that you'll do anything to escape facing justice. And this is a perfect example of that. Basically, what we have here is a guy who was exposing himself to children, and when somebody, went out there to stop him, he ended up paying the ultimate price for being a good citizen, basically.
Edward Bell and Larry Dickens. Many A-list actors come from humble origins, and Matthew McConaughey is no exception, with one of his first on-screen roles being here reenacting a terrible 1978 murder case. McConaughey plays Larry Dickens, who was the tragic victim of what can only be described as a senseless rampage by one Edward Bell. Bell, who was...
Okay, now keep in mind, I cannot recall they mention it in this video here, or in this entry. When he was on bail, when he was let out on bail before he escaped, he actually broke into another house. He broke into a house while a woman was, she was in the bathroom brushing her hair. She was getting ready for the day, basically. This would not have happened if the justice system worked the way it should. And the sad thing is, if I remember correctly, this was in Texas. Texas has some of the strongest laws regarding murder, if I remember correctly. The fact that this piece of shit, he murdered somebody. He murdered somebody and he didn't even fucking care. He shot the guy not once. He shot the guy, I think it was in the chest with a pistol, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. No, maybe it was the head. But he shot Larry Dickens with a pistol. He went back to his truck and got a hunting rifle. He went back and literally killed Larry Dickens as his mom was trying to protect him. If the justice system fucking worked the way it should, then he would not have been allowed to break into that woman's house the way that he did. And then he definitely would not have been allowed to go on the run for numerous years.
Was thankfully captured years later thanks to viewer tips, attacked the Dickens family with no apparent motive, and seemed to be a career criminal with a...
Regarding no apparent motive, Larry Dickens was preventing him from sexually harassing children who were playing some sort of game in the street. For them to say, oh, for no apparent reason, that's a little bit of a lie. And why they're hiding the fact that this guy was a sexual predator, I don't know.
Offenses dating back years before the incident. What's troubling about this episode isn't only the reenactment, but the fact that Bell was out on bail only 2 months after his arrest, thus allowing him to slip through the system for far too long before he was brought to justice.
He quietly liquidated his assets and with more than $140,000 in his pocket, disappeared.
Okay, so wait, was that it? Was that it? Hold on, let me check. Okay, well, apparently that was it. I thought we still had one more entry left, but as I'm looking at all my files and everything, no, that was the last last entry for this overall video here. That was number 11. It pisses me off, like I said, the fact that this guy did what he did and he got out on bail 2 months later. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel? Let's say you had a daughter. Let's say you had a daughter. She got home or she was visiting you or whatever, you saw somebody with their pants down making advances to children. Your daughter goes out there, tries to do what's right, only to get murdered for it. And her murderer is released 2 months later on bail. How would you feel? I don't know about you, but me, that pissed me the fuck off. That pissed me the fuck off. I would literally view that as a gross, failure of the justice system. And it's issues like that. It's issues where you have, people getting out on bail that brutally murder people. It's issues like that that causes vigilantes to be created. Okay, so that was entries 19 to 11 of the top 30 Unsolved Mysteries episodes that will keep you up at night. We had a few cases that I did not feel that really needed to be part of this list. We had a few cases that really pissed me off, and we had some cases that I just love to remember, to go back and remember. Next week, next Sunday, let's see here, it will be the 21st. On the 21st, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back with entries 10 to number 1, and that will be it for this overall series, the top 30 Unsolved Mysteries episodes that will keep you up at night. I will be done with that. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Did any of these cases piss you off? Do you have any thoughts about these cases? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you next time. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse. Wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.